Hi, Paul Hefty here with the Triangle O football system. You can see the link to my website as well as my email if you want to contact me. What we want to talk about here is our quick now screens. This is kind of a foundation of our quick game where we're going to do two types, what we call a green grass using our stretch zone blocking, and then our golden go and pull wide where we're going to use our pin and pull man blocking. Teaching point here, you want to install the green screens, which are bubble screens here when you're doing your stretch zone blocking RPOs, and then install the golden tunnel screen when you're doing your pin and pull man blocking RPOs. Let's take a look. So first, if you want to be good at your screen game, it's something you've got to invest in. Something we did at the college level, high school level, all the way down to the 9th grade, is after we stretch, we would always start practice with a high tempo screen and score drill. What I love about this is you've got your players and their groups going. So if you're 2 deep, 3 deep, they all rotate through, but your coaches are also involved. They're the defense. So they're moving to give them those realistic looks. You can also do this in a second phase where we do what we call a drill 46, green and gold drill. You can see on the left there we've got 4 quarterbacks going with the 6 receivers. You can see the Z and the X are blocking, but then you've got your slots doing their bubble, their smoke, and their tunnel screens with the backs then behind them swinging. While that's going on to the right then, you've got your O-line working on both their stretch green outside zone blocking and their gold pin and pull blocking with their screens. First is our classic now bubble screen. We like to always start out of a 2x2 because the picture is very clean, but this is what we would call a green grass. We want to get this wide and outside. The line then is going to use their stretch blocking to the play call. In this case it's a ram, so right. If we went left it would be lion. The back will always go opposite the call and close the back door. The receivers are mirrored here where the number 1 receivers, the Z and the X, will block number 1 defender, and the number 2s that are off the ball are both going to do a 3-step bubble screen technique. Quarterback is going to look for the side he has best leverage outside and get that ball to the front chin of that receiver so we can go and get to the outside hip of that number 1 out to green grass. We can do this from 3x1, and then simply the rule is the ball always goes to the receiver closest to the quarterback off the line of scrimmage. So in this case, we're in a bunch set to the right, 3 receivers. The X now would be the bubble receiver. The A would block number 1, Z would block number 2, first threat. Line's still going to do their stretch zone to the right with the ram. Back closes the back door. And then the Y on the back side, when he's solo, would do a bubble screen mirroring that. We can also designate who we want to get the ball to, and this would be a ram 2 now out of a 3x1. The Z would block number 1. The H, the number 3 receiver, is going to try to reach to number 2, and the A does a 3-step bubble. Again, line's going to stretch, back closes the back door, and the solo receiver does a now screen away. We use a stab screen technique versus cover 4 defenses where the safeties are reading that movement of the number 2 receiver. What they'll do is take 2 steps forward, so they drop and then go into their bubble. Everything's the same. When number 1 receivers are blocking number 1, linemen are stretch zone into the call, back closes the back door, and then we've got our bubble screen thrown to whichever one's got best leverage. We can also do smoke screens, and all that is we're getting the ball to the number 1 receiver. His technique is going to be just turn now to the quarterback catch, but he's still going to go outside to green grass. Now we trade responsibility. The Z here and the H are going to go arc to block number 1. Now the X and the A are going to get the ball, go now, but still get wide to the outside hip of that blocker. Line still stretches to the call, back closes the back door, and quarterback is throwing to the side where he's got best leverage. A great variation to the smoke screen, something Alabama made very popular years ago, was to do this out of a compressed bunch 3x1 set, still getting the ball to number 1, but on the back side then, the X receiver in this case to the left is going to do a 4-step looky slant. The quarterback here now, if he feels he's got free access or he's going to get blitzed from the back side, he can go ahead and throw the looky. But if he has leverage with the A receiver, he just catches it on the snap and gets it to him to his front chin and lets him take off with everybody far reaching to the play call. Last in the series is a now tunnel screen. Real simple here. We call this golden ram or golden lion, and the gold cues the O-line to use their pin and pull technique, where they're going to go ahead and look to the next defender outside their framework, working first level to second level. If that defender crosses their face as they're pulling, then they'll kick him out. The back now aligns to the call and arc releases to the number 2 defender. The number 1 receivers, the Z and the X, still block number 1, but now they're going to look to go inside out. The A and the H or S slot still are the receivers, but their technique is simply turn and face the quarterback, catch that now, and then look to get straight up field north and south. If there's any resistance, they'll look to cut this back now versus going to green grass to the outside. Quarterback has to throw this to the call side this time, but wants to throw it now to the front chin of that receiver so they can get it and go. Just like the green ram and lion, the golden ram and lion, we can designate who we get the ball to. In this case, the number 1 receiver, simply calling this a golden ram 1. Rules still all apply with the gold cue of pin and pull technique, the back to the call side, and now the A receiver is going to turn now, catch the ball, look to get north and south. If there's any resistance, look to cut back. You can see now with our Now series, we have a great foundation to start with your passing game, high completion percentage, great blitz beater, and a way to get the ball to some impact players out in space. Thanks.